Colton Flurry was just 16 years old when he disappeared from a Prince George motel in 2018. Colton began his new life at this motel with his mom, Phyllis Flurry. Phyllis had been 5 years sober and she was determined to get her son back. On May 3, 2018, a worker for the Ministry of Children and Family Development brought Colton to live with her. Phyllis said that he came back with just a little garbage bag full of clothing. He came into my room and I gave him a hug. But the next morning, Colton disappeared. She worked at the motel cleaning the rooms. After reviewing the security camera footage, she noticed her son walking away from the hotel at 7 a.m. without his belongings. Colton does not have a cell phone or a vehicle. There has been zero communication with family members from him. However, there has been potential sightings of Colton at a party at Rainbow Park in Prince George. The last possible sighting of him was on Highway 16th at Morristown. He was hitchhiking towards Prince Rupert, possibly with a girl named Maggie. The youngest of 5 children, he never goes without communication with his family for more than 2 days. Colton has been known to experiment with drugs such as crystal meth, which makes Phyllis worry all the more. She said that her band office at Witset First Nations is also supporting her search. The RCMP are also actively involved in this search. They believe that there may have been some communication between Colton and some of his friends shortly after he left his mother's that morning. Colton is a possible runaway, but the lack of communication is concerning, and the last possible known sighting of him was on Highway 16th, hitchhiking in the direction of Prince Rupert. Colton Flurry is 5 feet 8 inches tall, with brown hair and brown eyes. At the time of his disappearance, he weighed 120 pounds. He was 16 years old and wearing a red hoodie and black jeans. Contact the Prince George RCMP at 250-561-3300, case number 2018-13528, if you have any information about Colton. Barry Seymour was last seen in Prince George and was reported missing on May 26, 2012, after attending his son's birthday party. He decided to stay in Prince George for a few extra days at a local motel and was last seen in the evening near the Sunrise Trailer Park on Lansdowne Road. The police were perplexed and stated that it seems strange in the sense that we haven't been able to confirm any other sightings, and that's concerning. Sometimes we get reports where people just don't want to be found, but we still have sightings of them, so we know that they're around. But in this case, we haven't been able to confirm anything new. Friends have said that Barry spent a lot of his time outdoors, often hunting and camping, and learning traditional First Nations way of living off the land. He was a good father and missed dearly by his family. Barry Seymour was 32 years old when he disappeared. He is 5 feet 7 inches tall, with black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen in Prince George on May 23, 2012. It is unlike Barry to not contact friends and family. There is also a $25,000 reward for any information that will lead to Barry's discovery. Anyone with any information about this case is urged to contact the Prince George RCMP at 250-561-3000 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. In 2007, Lucas Degenerous went missing from Prince George. He was 14 years old. On June 7th, Luke was called into school to discuss his grades with his mom and teacher. After he was dismissed from the meeting, he left the school without returning to class. Some family members believe he may have tried returning to Edmonton, where he felt he belonged. But there were sightings of him in Prince George, staying with friends, and then later sleeping on a couch in the alley behind a house. After extensive searches and some frustrating leads, Lucas was never found, not one trace. Family and friends have been left devastated, but remember many fond memories of movie nights with popcorn and his great sense of humor, his cheeky grin and kindness. He did struggle with fitting in after his move from Edmonton to Prince George, but that is normal. Running away also isn't unheard of at that age, but vanishing without a trace is terrifying for family members. If you have any information about this case, please contact the Prince George RCMP at 250-561-3300 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. If you would like more information on Lucas's case, I've made a full video and I will put the link below. Perry Sebastian Jr. was reported missing in December 2011. There have been many tips and rumors about where he may have been, but none have resulted in locating him. The disappearance is out of character for Perry. His mom said that he was always diligent to update his social media or to keep in contact through text, but there has been no contact since. He left the Ni Tahai Bun Reserve on the south side of Francois Lake in northern BC to hitchhike to Hazelton, BC, about 260 kilometers in total. Perry has his cell phone with him, however, it has been turned off, and because of illegalities, the texts are unattainable for family and RCMP. Perry's cousin Kim said that the last time she heard from him was when he was planning to leave the Ni Tahi Bun Reserve after visiting a friend for Christmas. She said he planned to walk to Francois Lake Ferry and spend the night in Burns Lake before hitchhiking home to Hazelton. We don't know if he made it to the ferry at all. The ferry staff working that day don't recall seeing him. The family believes that he would have walked along the main roads because he was unfamiliar with the area, although they have had awesome support from various First Nation bands in the surrounding area. Perry is 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighs 180 pounds. He has dark brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a baseball cap, a black vest, and black hiking boots, and a faded blue hoodie and navy blue track pants. If anyone has any information about this case, please contact the Burns Lake RCMP at 250-692-7171. 32-year-old Irwin Mitchell was last seen on May 27, 2007 at approximately 10 p.m. when he stepped outside of his residence. He has not been seen or heard from since. Police believe he may have been seen in the Prince George area shortly after his disappearance. They have not ruled out the possibility of foul play. Irwin goes by the nickname Punky and is described as being 5 feet 3 inches tall, 140 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He has a number of tattoos, including ace cards on his left shoulder and initials TP on his right hand, a snake with a cross on his left ankle, and a skull with a flame on his left wrist. If you have any information as to his whereabouts, please contact the Burns Lake RCMP at 250-692-7171 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. This draws to a conclusion Part 1 of Missing Men and Boys Along the Highway of Tears. Stay tuned for Part 2.